Drowning in the Lake, Toxic Song. You're Toxic, I'm Slipping Under. Obviously, it's a Britney Spears bop from back when I was growing up. I don't know how it relates to Freddie and Friends, but sure. Hey guys, and welcome to GT Not Live, where we are back on the couch, back from California, and back talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, because that game is coming up in like a week and a half. Week and a half, Matt! Are you excited?
I've never been more excited for anything in my life.
Never. Anything.
Nope.
Nothing can compare to this.
Nothing.
Literally nothing. As Sinead O'Connor said in a famous music video from back in like the early 90s, nothing compares to you. And that you is FNAF Security Breach.
Well, you know, Prince said it first.
Did Prince say it first?
It's a Prince cover.
Is it a Prince? Wait, that was originally a Prince
Yeah.
song?
Uh-huh.
Nothing compares. Really? Well, there you go.
I know.
She was a controversial figure.
It helps to have a DJ around.
Get yourself a local DJ. It's very helpful. This will be your first ever FNAF release, Matt.
I know.
Are you stoked?
Yeah. What
Yeah.
should I expect?
What should you expect?
Yeah.
Probably the fact that we're going to end up live streaming it on Game Theory.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right. Surprise! That's happening.
I actually didn't know that.
It's news to all of us.
Glad that we're doing this on camera.
Yep, we're talking through it live. Hopefully you'll be here for it.
Yeah.
If not, well then we'll figure it out. Maybe we won't live stream it if you're not there that day. No, Steph and I were talking about it. We're like, should we live stream this? Maybe on Game Theory? Right now, that's the plan. Right now, the plan is for us to live stream Security Breach live on Game Theory. Because you know what? We just did a live stream for St. Jude. That was a lot of fun. It was good to be live. And now that we're back in North Carolina and like the incredible amount of travel is starting to thin out, we might be able to just hop on and do a casual live stream.
I like that the one time that we're planning on going live again, it's not on the live channel.
Don't point that out, Magnet. It's still up for debate. It might be here. We're figuring it out, but we're like, well, people like FNAF. Let's do it on Game Theory.
That's
Why not?
true.
Anyway, it just went live. Let's do it again. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. Let us know. Should we go live? Would you like to see us play it live or no? Just keep doing VODs, because that's, able to be polished, I guess. Not that we do too much with them. But let me know. That's where we're at. But yeah, 12/16 is coming up real fast. But before we get there, we still have this FNAF Iceberg to dive all the way down into the depths for. And there's a lot. As Matt pointed out last time, he chose a FNAF Iceberg that had a lot of text. That was his metric of success. And he found a successful one because there's like 200 layers and all of them have like 500 things to talk about. So in total, we're talking about tens of thousands of FNAF objects right now. Last time Matt learned all sorts of things, such as...
That was a while ago.
It was pre St. Jude, so now we're back.
Put me on the spot.
I am putting you on the spot. We're back in the swing of this. You had your little LA vacation.
Yeah.
And now you're back.
Oh, Mangle. Mangle's genderless.
You learned about Mangle.
I learned that Mangle's genderless.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. Thanks for that. All right. So there's a lot to cover. Obviously, there's going to be a part 3 to this, I guarantee. But if we have any hope of getting through this before Security Breach releases, we got to hop into it. So real quick, let me just remind you, kind of last chances to get your holiday merch in before the holidays hit. Things like our Switch case, which is really cool. Things like the Security Breach merchandise that Creator Inc. partnered with in order to promote the launch of the new game, like Manny shirts and Montgomery Gator shirts, Roxanne Wolf shirts. You got the Theory blanket behind us, which was close to selling out last I checked. And as the St. Jude live stream proved, there were people on stream who joined us in studio who had the merch already, who had ordered it and had it on set for us. So, you will get it real fast. So if you're interested in literally anything that is available, be it on the FNAF side or on the Game Theory side, it's all available here and it'll ship to you ASAP. So in the event that you come to a live showing of our St. Jude stream, you would be there. It would be there for you to wear. So that's that. We talked about the live stream, and we'll talk about St. Jude on a different day, because right now we got to talk FNAF, and we have a lot of FNAF to talk about. So let's hop into this. Pull it up, Matt. we're still testing my knowledge, and we were starting to get to areas where I was getting a little shaky. I am deep in the lore of this stuff. I am deep into the books of this stuff, but there's a lot of things on like the technical side, on the like fan animation side, things that I might not be as privy to. So that's, again, why we're doing this experiment. We're diving into the depths. We're figuring out what I do and don't know and where the limitations of my knowledge exist. So when last we left off, we had talked about things like the handprint on Freddy's face in FNAF 1. We had talked about the rare boot images that just kind of show up, the hex code of purple, sister location underneath FNAF 4 stuff. So Rick Astley being the shadow from sister location in one of the endings, all of that stuff. So now we're on to the power bar level. So we've gone from Endo in Vent through the toxic meter, through Beakless Chica, and now we're into the power bar, the unused power bar that exists. So going through here, and that actually ties into this first one. So 5th power usage bar. Starting off strong. This one is, I believe, FNAF 2. This is me testing my knowledge, and then we'll double check this. But 5th power usage bar, I believe in FNAF 2. No, there wasn't a power bar in FNAF 2 because there was no power. It was flash the flashlight, and it was the vents and the mask. So is this FNAF 1? There was a 5th. I know that in one of them, and I think it must have been the first one. Then I'm confused. I'm getting warmed up. It's like Matt said, we're back and we're into this. I believe in FNAF 1. Then there was a glitch potentially where you would see a 5th power usage bar if everything was going at the same time. So if you had both doors shut and you had the lights flashing, and basically if you did everything that was using power all at the same time, it would trigger a 5th power bar. Let me double check that one. FNAF 5th power bar, because usually there's only 4. Power indicator. It is possible to get 5. Here, let's look at it. It is possible. There we go. Turning on the hall lights, closing the doors, and checking the monitor will cut that time in half for each. Yeah. So this is, okay, the power metrics. It's possible to have 5 bars, but this only lasts for less than a second after closing both doors, turning one light on and checking the cameras. Yes. Yep, so there you go. Yeah, it's possible to show an additional one. I thought it was maybe a glitch, but apparently it's just like a very short thing that happens. But yes, this is for FNAF 1. Which makes sense because it's the one that has the power bar. Okay, great. Feel good about that one. There we go. Beta designs for the fun times. Oh, no! I don't know what the beta designs for the fun times were. Did they have beta designs? I was not aware of this. Beta designs for the fun time animatronics. They exist. Scrapped character. I mean, yeah, I figured it's a scrapped character. Beta designs. Oh my gosh, so many ads everywhere. Ads just everywhere. So many ads. Scrapped characters. This is an unused interpretation for the beaver animatronic. I mean, it's like generic Freddy Fazbear. Is that supposed to be a beaver? It's basically if you took Freddy Fazbear, color shifted him a little bit, and then stripped him naked. Like, no hat! This is kind of like when those animations or those designs where you see, like, Homer Simpson without, like, one of his iconic parts of his face, like the kind of, like, beard around his mouth or whatever, where it just, like, it looks off. It's like a cursed... It is the embodiment of a cursed image. This right here is a cursed image. What do you think, Matt? Should unused beaver appear in Security Breach?
He's like great value Freddy Fazbear.
This is a Costco brand. Yeah, exactly. Costco brand.
Kirkland signature.
Kirkland signature Freddy Fazbear. Here he is. It's like, you want a hat? Too bad.
He's got the beaver teeth.
He does have the beaver teeth. Like, that is literally the only beaver-related thing that he has on his person right now. Meanwhile, we've got also the unused wolf animatronic, which... Yeah! I like his point. Scott apparently ran out of colors for this one. It's like, this is fine. He's going to be a gray wolf. Everything about him is going to be gray. Just looks ashy. Put some color in your cheeks, man. Okay, FNAF sister location. Here we go. Sister location, while not having scrap characters, features 2 beta designs. The beta design is more or less the same, the main difference being the purple coloration instead of the pink and the missing bow tie. Funtime Freddy's, however, is much more drastic. Originally had no speak. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So I have okay. So I have seen these floating around. I guess I didn't realize that these are beta characters. Yeah. So I guess in the original design, he didn't have the puppet. He had the Bonnie puppet, and yeah, he had buttons instead of the speaker. Gotta admit, I definitely like the final design better than this one for sure. And then Foxy, he looks largely the same. Like, it's not so drastically different. I have seen these hovering around in the past, so this isn't super surprising to me. I guess I just never made too. It's funny actually. I'm all at this point. You know, over the years we've learned a lot of things, and we did a video about this. But always trying to kind of keep an eye out for fan art, and so I see those actually, and I automatically dismiss them as like, oh, this is fan art. Don't use, and so I flag them in my notes to the editors, being like, hey, double check that this isn't fan art, or like this looks like fan art, confirm that's from an official source or whatever. So I've seen these in the past, and I've flagged them, I believe, as fan art. So that's why that didn't register, but that makes sense to me. So okay, so there you go, beta designs for the fun times. I like the final designs better. Still don't really understand why Bonnie became a puppet. It's like, he doesn't need a hand. But there you go. Vanessa Mask. That's an important one that we've talked about a lot in all the lore episodes, right? So Vanessa is presumably the security guard in the upcoming Security Breach. It's been teased ever since FNAF VR was released. It's a handcrafted bunny mask. It appears at the end of FNAF Help Wanted, the VR game. It's kind of flesh-toned on the inside, or like reddish on the inside. It feels like it's made of human skin or whatever, or at least in early designs it was. You discover it, you can discover it kind of buried in the woods, in the haystack maze minigame, and then you pick it up, and that's when you hear voices, and it's the whole reluctant follower thing. So basically, long and short of it, the Vanessa Mask was the way of teasing Security Breach years before it ended up happening, and revealing to us what the killer or one of our main villains is going to look like, which we do today. Oh my gosh, button inconsistencies. That's not telling me a whole lot. We'll get back to that one. Let's hop back to that one. Mediocre Melodies Whispers. We talked about this, I believe, last time very briefly, but in Ultimate Custom Night, you have the Mediocre Melodies, which are, Happy Frog and Ned Bear and all those guys, Orville Elephant, kind of these rip-off characters, right? And if you die to them during Ultimate Custom Night, every once in a while they'll have these creepy whispers where they're like, I forget what they say, but basically it amounts to like, the one you should not have killed, I'm going to make you suffer forever, all that good stuff. Ultimately leading to the theory that like, hey, all these things are kind of giving voice to this entity, that I will see you burn, I will make sure that you suffer, whatever. Basically that these characters are giving voice to the entity that we ultimately concluded was the vengeful spirit, Cassidy, the one you should not have killed, one of the spirits inside of Golden Freddy. So Mediocre Melodies actually proving their worth in the value of this franchise. Hey, they have meaning, and there they are. Buff Helpy is a meme. I believe it hasn't actually shown up in the games. I know it as a meme in the FNAF community, but Helpy is the character that shows up throughout the series. I believe his first appearance was in Pizzeria Simulator, but he's basically the mini version of Funtime Freddy. He's got the white body, the pink highlights or whatever. He's the little figurine that kind of coaches you through that game. He then appears later in Ultimate Custom Night. And over the years, he's just become kind of a fan favorite. He's also in Help Wanted, the VR game. But over the years, he's become a fan favorite. And a meme to come out of him is Buff Helpy, where he's just like jacked. He's been getting his swole on. He's been getting his gains. And, this little animatronic is now a big boy. He's a thick boy.
Can we see it?
You want to see Buff?
I would like to see Buff Helpy.
Okay, Buff. You may see Buff Helpy. I mean, he has all sorts of memes.
Not what I was picturing.
No? What were you imagining, Matt?
Well, I wasn't picturing a human body at all.
Ah, yeah, sure.
I was picturing a bear's
like
body.
more like this.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's many flavors of Buff Helpy.
No,
you are
totally.
you are welcome to take your pick. A Buff Helpy for all seasons.
He's a big guy.
He's getting his swole on, man. He started small and now he's a big boy. Buff Helpy. Let's know the meme. Because I'm not. There it is. This is gonna get flagged, I'm sure. This is an inappropriate shirtless person away from a situation where they'd actually be swimming. So we're in trouble now with the YouTube algorithm. Make sure this one doesn't get flagged for us. This meme, created by Thomas, was made for the YouTuber Dawko's Five Nights at Freddy's meme review. Yeah, it's a meme. Since that is the primary content on his channel. This meme was made for Dawko's YouTube channel, since that is the primary content, Five Nights at Freddy's memes. He made a joke on a video where he pretended to be terrified of it. Then people started sending him a lot of Buff Helpy, leading to Buff Helpy getting his own spin-off game. There you go. But yeah, that's Buff Helpy. I like Helpy a lot. He's actually one of my favorite characters in the series, and so I think Buff Helpy is really funny. Lives. Yep. Button inconsistency, lives. Drowning in the lake. I can talk about that one. I know that one. Drowning in the lake is if you die. Oh, God, which one is it? Wake up, Matt. It's been a long night. Ollie's going through his phase where he stays up till 3 a.m. not wanting to go to bed. So I'm dealing with a lot of sleep deprivation. My schedule's all over the place. In FNAF, the one that no one likes. Why can't I think of it? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing such a blank. It is a rough morning for me. You know, the one that Scott disowned. Why can I not think of it? FNAF World. That's it. FNAF World, the RPG that Scott made and then took down because people were mad about it and didn't understand it, and then he like remastered it into like fancier graphics, which is never the point of this series, so that was just weird. But basically, in Help Wanted, FNAF World, you find old man consequences if you go too deep into the game. So basically, the game has this warning where you're diving into the glitches of this game, you're diving into the glitches of this world. Don't go deeper than 3 levels, otherwise you won't be able to return. And so throughout the game, you're kind of going deeper and deeper through these different mazes to try and navigate your way back up to the surface of the game. But if you go too deep, you end up at Old Man Consequences Lake, which is just this like black and red screen with like very rudimentary pixels. And there's a guy who looks like an alligator fishing in the lake, and he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. We warned you, and now you have to deal with the consequences. You're stuck here forever." And you seem to be trapped, right? And the game is basically soft locked at that point. You have to kind of restart it or reset it to, start playing again.
A guy that looks like an alligator?
Yes.
Having trouble picturing that. Is he an alligator or a guy?
He's a sprite. Here, I'll look at it here. Old Man Consequences. He's not a guy. He is a character that looks like.
Well, he's an old man.
No, that's him.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a character, a guy, a figure. Mm-hmm. Sorry, it is a computerized, pixelated, Atari-style character.
I see.
In the shape of an alligator with a long nose and teeth, perhaps a crocodile, if we're being particular, and he's fishing, right? So what you can do, so this is you, right? That's you. And you're like, "Oh no, I'm so deep and I'm stuck in this game." You either have to reset it, and he says, "Sit here and wait a while." The alternative, though, is that you can drown yourself in the lake. Mm-hmm. And so basically, and people are like, "Is this meant to be? Is it not?" And it is, because if you basically wiggle back and forth a bunch of times, like in a very specific spot on the lake, eventually you cross entirely into the lake, you glitch through the screen a bunch, and you end up with a weird ending screen where you see basically a silhouetted figure holding on or putting his hands onto 2 other silhouetted figures. Some have hypothesized that it's also like angel wings, because it kind of like the head and the bodies look like kind of like angel wings. To me, it looks like, tall person and 2 small people next to him in front of a flashing screen. It was thought to be that is Scott holding on or hanging out with his 2 kids at the time. So that is Drowning in the Lake. So that's one. Puppet in FNAF 1 location. Didn't realize that's a thing. Oh yeah, I do actually. Okay, now that I think about it, I know what it is. So the puppet was introduced into the series in FNAF 2, right? Security puppet eventually kind of gets pulled out of a gift box that you have to wind the music box in order to keep it at bay and keep it happy. So as far as anyone knew, the puppet didn't exist in FNAF 1, right? Except if you go back to FNAF 1, sometimes you can see, like, FNAF 1 is full of all these randomized glitches, right? And that's how Golden Freddy sometimes appears. That's why you sometimes get newspaper articles on the walls that tell you the lore of this thing. And that's what really got people into this series in the first place, right? Well, the jump scare. Like, there was a lot that got people in the series, but, like, for me, those, like, little bits of lore that would pop up in random playthroughs was one of the things that people got excited about. Well, the puppet in FNAF 1, every once in a while, the posters on the wall would flip to faces of children. It looked like faces of children that are crying. I believe they had eyeballs, but they had that like signature tear streak and kind of white round face that the puppet has. So I'm assuming puppet in FNAF 1 location is referring to those kind of like every once in a while poster appearances where you have crying children or basically crying faces similar to the puppet face appearing in FNAF 1. But let me double check that because I'm not, unless there's something that I don't know in FNAF 1. Let's see what this one is. The puppet in FNAF 1. I don't know if this is what this is referring to. Did it jump scare us? Where are we at? Is this a real thing? I don't think this is a real thing. Yeah, nice editing skills. Yeah, right. This is no way. I was really freaked out. Yeah,
Read the bio, the description.
This is not real. There you go. See, I mean, I could read the comments. Why would I trust the description of someone who made this?
Yeah, I trust epic surfing vids.
Now, maybe if there was a dislike button, I would know if this was real or not, Matt. But there's no dislike button, so I have no idea what's real or not on YouTube anymore. Except for when someone is nice, like epic surfing vids. Epic surfing vids. Your go-to source. Yeah, so the puppet is not the puppet in FNAF 1. So if the cutscenes in FNAF 2 take place in the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in FNAF 1, how's the puppet there? Oh, that's actually a good point too. Okay, I didn't think about that, but that's actually a good point. That could also be referencing that. So in FNAF 2, in between the nights, there are cutscenes, right? And most of those cutscenes are set, or they appear to be set in the FNAF 1 location, where you are inside the eyes of one of the animatronics up on stage. And so you're looking around, and it's like creepy and atmospheric and whatever. It's replicating a lot of the scenes that you saw in FNAF 1, but now you're up on stage and you're looking through the eyes of an animatronic. I believe it's night 4? Either before night 4 or night 5, as you look around, suddenly the puppet follows your line of vision. He's like right here, and he follows your line of vision. So that's another reference to the puppet in FNAF 1, I guess, is in those FNAF 2 cutscenes, you flash back or have these scenes of what appears to be the FNAF 1 pizzeria location, and the puppet is there kind of like haunting your vision there as well. So that's another way that the puppet kind of makes his appearance or is seen to be connected to that FNAF 1 location. Fredbear and Friends 1983, this is a reference to FNAF 4. I think most of us are aware of this one at this point, right, Matt?
Yes.
Take it away.
It takes place in 1983. Right? Am I right? The bite of 86? No, wait, when was the bite? When was the bite?
You're doing great, Matt. Please keep going. This is I feel like everyone's walking away with a lot of really good information here.
What happened in 1983?
What didn't happen? It was the 80s, man. You had cell phones the size of like a car.
It was Reagan's first run, right?
Probably somewhere around there, yeah. That sounds about right. Sure.
I don't know. Can you help?
Yeah, no, you're
the FNAF guy.
Reagan. I'm sure there was like some great Oingo Boingo hit that year. Classic.
Toto was out.
Toto, yep. Take me down to Africa. Mm-hmm. Big shoulder pads, big hair.
Ooh, yeah.
83, man. Good year. It was also the year that appeared in FNAF 4. So if you hang out during one of the in-between cutscenes where you're the crying child kind of walking around his house, there's a TV in the living room. and if you kind of activate the TV, you'll see it flash on, and it'll play through Fredbear and Friends, which is you see all the animatronics.
That's the show we've been watching. Comes out every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Glitches on the screen.
Yeah, glitches on the screen.
Purple guy.
Yeah, good. See, there you go. So it's interesting. That's Fredbear and Friends on tour, which may or may not be connected to that. But basically, it is. You're totally right to call that out. So it is a children's cartoon on television featuring the Freddy and Friends characters. You see, and it's weird because you see Freddy, Fox. I believe you see Foxy. Freddy, Foxy, Chica, and Bonnie. Maybe not Foxy, but I believe so. Plus Golden Freddy. And I think that was one of the weird details of this TV show in FNAF 4 was everyone was like, oh, Golden Freddy goes away and regular Freddy Fazbear kind of rises up and takes his place. But this is the one time where we actually see them both at the same time, kind of in the same context. So it kind of recontextualized the relationship between Brown Freddy and Yellow Freddy, for lack of a better term. And at the end of it, it's revealed that, the date 1983 appears on there, which got people thinking like, well, is the cartoon dated at 1983? Is this game happening in 1983? There was a lot of, because the interesting thing about FNAF 4, right, is it ends with a bite. A kid getting his head bitten in half. And so everyone's like, oh my gosh, there's a bite in the game. This must be the bite of 1987. That's the date you were looking for. You were close.
I was close.
You were close. Yeah, everyone's like, is that the bite of 87? And it wasn't. It was, and Scott. So I did a predictive theory because this was back in the era where like the games would release way earlier than you expected. And we were at VidCon, and I'm like, well, I want one last predictive theory before Five Nights at Freddy's 4 comes out. And then, of course, it came out like the day that we released our prediction theory on it. And so I talk about, it's the bite of 87 and this and that and whatever. And then Scott left me a comment on that one where he's like, nice video, Matt, but you missed a big detail that other people are calling you out on in the comments. Like, yeah, I know, the game literally, I'm at VidCon right now. Scott, I'm sorry. I tried to beat your game to the punch, and you decided to release it like a month early. And once a video's out there, I can't, change it. But that's what he was referencing, was that whole theory for me was based on, it's going to be 1987, but it was actually 1983. Based on that TV. So that's what that is going to. Illusion discs, probably the most controversial. I without exaggeration, actually, I would probably say that this is one of the most controversial things I've talked about. One of the most controversial things that the books have introduced, and also one of the things that just fits in ? They're weird. So in the second FNAF novel, Twisted Ones. You are introduced to all sorts of weird concepts, including stuff that we've already talked about, right? Like, here's a house on the surface, and there's a giant pizzeria factory / actual pizzeria entertainment center underground underneath this house. Makes literally no sense. If it was a weird concept in the games at least abstracted in a way that you're like, oh, okay, it's a storage facility under your house, I guess. That's cool. But in the books, it becomes really strange because it's like, I'm going into my residential home that I had as a child, and also underneath is a fully fledged Chuck E. Cheese style, megaplex pizzeria experience. And you're like, that doesn't make any sort of logistical sense from what consumers are going to an underground pizzeria restaurant. It's very strange. And it's not like a factory either, because in the books, it's literally described as there are ball pits and you're crawling through the tubes, and you're like, what? There's arcade cabinets, and unless I misread it, it's been a while since I misread it, but, unless I'm wrong, it was literally meant to be a full-on restaurant. There was I believe at one point there's a waterfall, and it gets filled with gasoline, and they set the gasoline on fire. Anyway, it's a strange book, Twisted Ones. One of the strangest things to come out of it, though, was the inclusion of these illusion discs. So, basically, William Afton Robotics, or whatever his business name is called, they create these little discs that are able to send out sound waves that alter your perception of reality. And so you can be looking at a decrepit building that's falling down, and the sound disc is making you see a bright, shiny new pizzeria. Or you're looking at an animatronic that's about to bite your head off, but instead it's like Freddy Fazbear getting ready to give you a hug. And it's a weird concept. They emit the sound anytime they show up. You have characters expressing that they feel nauseous, which is one of the clues that I really dug into in kind of my analysis of the books and trying to see if it tied back to the games at all. The only time, and the shape-shifting element that the books introduced and that sister location in particular leans into is very strange. Like for instance, Baby, giant clown robot, but has these little balls around her body in her character models that you see that allow her to basically shapeshift into a real-life human being that is indistinguishable from a normal human. And this is something that the books have repeatedly reinforced as part of the lore, for as ridiculous as it is. Don't shoot the messenger. I just read the stuff and report it back to you and try to make connections. That is a thing that Baby can do. She can shapeshift it to look like a normal human. And you see it in her character design in the games. But also, when you open her up at the end of Sister Location, it's one of the last mini games where you have to follow instructions, and you have to remove something from her body, inside of her body. And the thing inside of her body is a little beeping disc with a red light on it. And it makes no sense. It doesn't seem to be incorporated into her overall structure. It is just a weird thing, just boop, right there, kind of like a freckle, like a sticker that you got to peel off. And, the only thing that I can really think of what it is an illusion disc, right? That's helping to prompt this idea that she can shapeshift into something else, or that she can kind of mislead people using visuals. So anyway, that's the illusion discs. They exist in the lore. No one likes them. I talk about them because they exist, and as someone who just absorbs this and tries to make connections, I have to acknowledge their existence. But I think everyone would be yeah, just push those aside. We can forget those for later. Moving on. Yellow Bear. It's Golden Freddy, the initial name that we all had for a Golden Freddy, I guess. Back in the days before we knew that he had a name, we're kind of solidified on the name Golden Freddy. Freddy Bear. Another name. I don't know what Freddy Bear or Golden Bear is. Freddy Bear. Freddy Bear. FNAF. Is another fan created thing. It's Freddy. I am Freddy Bear. Is it just what people don't know? Freddy Bear meme. It sounds like a meme to me. Are you Freddy? Are you Freddy kids? Someone say teddy bear. Five Nights at Freddy owning a teddy bear. Freddy Fazbear. I like Freddy Fazbear. He is a very fast bear. Freddy Bear. I'm assuming that this is either a fan created, these two are either fan created things or jokes in the community, memes. Let's try Yellow Bear if we can just see yellow. Or this is what people are searching for. Yeah, Yellow Bear FNAF. It's Golden Freddy. Is Yellow Bear Golden Freddy? Okay, oh! I didn't know that. Golden Freddy, referred to as Yellow Bear in the game files. Huh. Is an animatronic. I did not know that. There you go. Oh, wow. It's people agree with this so much that it's actually part of the fandom wiki now. Golden Freddy is haunted by one of William Afton's victims, a little girl named Cassidy. It's making a lot of big statements there, fivenightsatfreddy's.fandom.com, because I don't know, I feel like everything at this point in the franchise is controversial. It's is that actually supported? I don't know. Let's see, yeah, so he's Golden Bear. Yellow Bear. He's Yellow Bear in the game. Oh my gosh, there's so many ads in the game files. That's really interesting. So now we know that with Yellow Bear. Freddy Bear. Is that a FNAF Freddy Bear? Beware. Or I could see that being... I could also see it being a merch company being it's Freddy Bear. And everyone's no, you idiots. Come on, read closer. Freddy's, yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to find it because it's so close to Freddy Fazbear. Fred Bear FNAF. Freddy Fastbear. Who is Freddy Fastbear? I love it. So I don't know what Freddy Bear is. Let me know if I'm missing something. Drowning in the Lake, Toxic Song. You're toxic, I'm slipping under. Obviously, it's a Britney Spears bop from back when I was growing up. I don't know how it relates to Freddy and Friends, but sure. Curse Haunting. Yeah, okay, so I don't know some of these. Lives, button inconsistencies, Curse Haunting, and Toxic Song. I'm assuming Toxic Song is something that plays. So that probably relates back to the Toxic FNAF song. I'm assuming that has to go back to the toxic meter that we talked about last time, which was a scrap mechanic from FNAF 2. FNAF song Toxic? Is it one of the fan-made songs? Unused and removed concept. Is it toxic? Okay, there appears to be an unused attack in the game. Oh, okay, so this is Toxic Song Attack. What? Okay. Toxic Song. Okay, so this is from FNAF World. There appears to be an unused attack in the game Toxic Song. It most likely would have poisoned enemies, as with Toxic Bite. It may have been unused and may have been usable by Phantom Mangle and Springtrap, since their fixed counterparts, Funtime Foxy and Spring Bonnie, are the only characters with Cosmic Song. Phantom Freddy is also a possibility due to the fact that he's stronger. Or that he's a singer. The Toxic Song Attack. Huh. Weird. So, yeah, and, that's really strange. So, in the whole, FNAF world, you have all sorts of wacky, hot cheese, the attack, one of the classic memes of this channel. Toxic Song, huh? Odd. Did not know that, but there you go. Scrapped thing from FNAF World. We had Toxic Song. Curse Haunting. FNAF Curse Haunting. Okay. See, it's all this cut content that I don't know. Curse Haunting chip. Huh. Okay, so this is another FNAF. So this is FNAF World for sure. Curse Haunting chip. Files for unlocking a red chip called Curse. So throughout the game, you unlock different chips. They give you greater abilities, secret skills, whatever. So basically, each time you find a chip in the game, you're kind of upgrading your character and your movesets, right? Files for unlocking a red chip called Curse Haunting are stored between the unlock screens for Pizza Fury and Block Unscrew. The chip itself, however, doesn't exist even in the files. Presumably, it would have been used to haunt all enemies from the start of a battle, or else Ghost Freddy would appear and stun them on occasion. The chip may have been replaced with the green chip Quick Start Party, which stuns enemies for the first few rounds of a battle. Huh. Alright, so, again, cut content? Don't know, I'm always surprised that people find this stuff, but I guess these games at this point are just, so ripped to shreds, and people immediately, as soon as one is released, they just, immediately open it up to find all the secrets, because a lot of times it's how would you even find the, typing in a code into bricks on a wall at some point. It's crazy. Interesting. So there you go. A cut skill from FNAF World again. Let's see. Toxic Song, Buff Helpy, Lives. I'm assuming this is, now that I think about it, is this just a lives meter in one of the games? That would be my guess. FNAF Lives! I'm assuming this is cut content. Decompiled content. Lives. FNAF Lives! Lives guy? Oops. Lies! FNAF Lies. Lives guy is a representation of unused lives feature. Okay, so there was a lives feature in Five Nights at Freddy's, and this is him. Really? Lives guy? Weird, is the stick figure. I like that his species is stick figure, and yet his gender is still male. Well done, internet. Eye color, none. He has no eyes. Five Nights at Freddy's, he was unused content from Five Nights at Freddy's, which makes sense. Having lives in a FNAF game doesn't make any sense, because you lose, you die. That's it. You got one, you blew it. That's the whole point. It's not like you can get, bit in half, and then bit in a second half. Oh, you lost 50% of your life by being bit in half. Or 50% of you was shoved into an animatronic. No, so that's interesting. So he is a more cut thing. simplistic white pixelated stick figure with lines for arms, legs, and a torso. At the start of night, you'll have a short amount of time to get jump scared by any lethal character other than Lives Guy, which is shown on the left side of the screen. If you successfully die, you continue the night. What? If you take too long, Lives Guy also. Is this a... Wait, hold on. Ultra custom night. This is a different thing. Hold up, this is a different thing. He was unused. Okay, he was unused in Five Nights at Freddy's. That's all we need to know. Great. This is for a fan game, though, it seems to be. Yeah, this is a fan game. When Lives Guy was first added in... Okay, yeah, this is all fake. Okay. See, this is... You've got to parse through it all. Totally fine. But yeah, Lives in FNAF 1, that makes sense. Next. Curse Haunting, Buff Helpy, Button Inconsistent. I don't know what button inconsistencies are. So and that's the last one of this one. Button inconsistencies. Button inconsistent. No, inconsistent. No, inconsistencies. FNAF. Some huge inconsistencies, problems with FNAF 4. Okay, no, that's not it. Mistakes in Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, our button inconsistencies? I get it, what they're referring to. Okay. I think what this is referring to now. I thought that button inconsistencies was talking about like actual control buttons, like I'm controlling the game via buttons. But now that I'm actually looking at it, I know what it's referring to. So button inconsistencies here is kind of the early days of our theories, where one of the ways to tell the differences in the animatronics was via the number of buttons on their chest, right? I would always look at their toe numbers, their finger numbers, and their buttons to tell you, like, oh, this is, this FNAF 2 Freddy is the same as FNAF 1 Freddy, or like, is he wearing 3 buttons or 2 buttons or 1 button? And so there are times throughout the series where, the button numbers change, the toe numbers change, things like that. I'm wondering if at some point or in some angles, Freddy has like 3 buttons, but then he appears on a different screen and he has 2 buttons or something like that. But button inconsistencies is talking about like literal physical buttons on the characters, not like the controls, which is what I was thinking it was referring to. And that is this one, the power meter. So
we might have to cut it there.
No, Matt, no.
We got things to do.
No. Here, we can knock off a lot of these real fast.
Okay.
Here, okay.
Speed round.
Let's do speed round. Because actually, as I scan through these, this isn't that hard.
Okay.
FNAF 1 was meant to be Scott's last game. Everyone knows that. That should be like very top of the iceberg, guys. Like we all know that he was a struggling game designer. His last game had gotten kind of ripped to shreds. So he's like, I'm gonna lean into the scariness, and here we go. That's top of iceberg stuff. Get out of here. Movie ripoffs. We've mentioned this in previous GT Lives, but there are all sorts of movies like Banana Splits and Wally's Wonderworld, Wally's Wonderland, which feel like they are FNAF movies that never made it through, or hey, while we're waiting for the FNAF movie to get made, let's pump this one out so we can kind of capture the market on like animatronic horror murder movies. So that's easy. Bonnie and Chica height oversight, not 100%. I'm assuming this is like their heights change from game to game, or like at certain angles. We'll look into that one next time. Sister location blueprints. Again, because you guys follow me and you follow the lore, this one isn't that much of a surprise, but there is a way in Sister Location for you to unlock secret blueprints of the characters in the game, and this is where we first learned how massive these things really are, because it's difficult to get a sense of scale from the game itself. And so we learned that Funtime Freddy has a giant cavern inside of his body for keeping people, for capturing children. We learn that Funtime Foxy has like the ability to mimic human voices, and they have these child luring mechanisms, all in William Afton's attempt to basically capture a bunch of kids and trap them and then use them for his experiments, murder them, what have you. So Sister Location Blueprints was just a cool lore thing hidden inside that game. Again, that's like top of iceberg stuff. It isn't this deep. Fright Dome. This is quick and easy. Fright Dome was a FNAF experience, a one-off FNAF experience that happened during Halloween in Las Vegas. I believe it was in the Hotel Circus. And basically, during Halloween, you have all sorts of scary haunted houses and horror mazes, things like that. And so Circus, I believe, was basically brought Five Nights at Freddy's out, licensed Five Nights at Freddy's, and did a whole kind of like horror walkthrough or scary haunted house experience with FNAF as its theme. Scott Cawthon invited a bunch of, popular FNAF people. I was not one of them. Not salty about it at all. There's pictures online of people getting to meet him, take pictures with him, see him in person. Not jealous or anything. Didn't feel sad about that at all. Might have been lore there, but I don't know. Anyway, just kind of sad. Whatever. Scott is self-taught. That is very self-explanatory. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't carry a chip on my shoulder about it or anything.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Senpai didn't notice me!
I'm sorry.
Senpai didn't notice me, man.
Hey, I noticed you.
I know. Are you senpai, though?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Did you create animatronic horror franchise that sweeps the nation?
I'm learning a lot about it.
That's good. Mm-hmm. I'm glad. I'm glad. At least I can give you that. At least I can give you that, because I'll just sit here in my island and not experience those sorts of things. Real quick, other things that are really quickie here. Yendo. Yendo's one of my favorite animatronics to say. He is in the Custom Night of Sister location, I believe. So Yendo is basically an Ennard style Freddy Fazbear. He's made up a bunch of twisted wires and tubes, looking like Ennard, but he's in the shape of Freddy, or just a large bear. He doesn't appear anywhere except for in the custom night, where you can kind of create your own thing in sister location. It's very strange, but I like him. I think his name is funny. I'm assuming everyone's kind of thought that maybe the Endo obviously is for endoskeleton, and then the Y at the beginning is potentially for yellow Freddy, or like yellow bear, Yendo. Could it relate to Golden Freddy in some way? Lastly is, I don't know this one, argumentative argumentative standards, elevation, passive heights. Not sure about that one. We'll talk about that. Mike. There's a lot of... Mike is one of the most important names in the franchise. The fact that it's all lowercase, I don't know if that means anything. You have Mike appearing on hand units thing as you go down into sister location. Michael Afton is the son of William Afton. He appears everywhere. He's super important. There's also the rumor, or kind of the persistent theory, that goes at the end when you get trapped in Old Man Consequence's lake that we talked about before, the red alligator guy, but not guy, but guy character, the fellow sprite, that there are weird voices in the background, and the theory goes that if you slow it down or kind of like analyze that audio, it sounds like William Afton screaming, "Help me, Mike," and it's like, "Help me, Mike, help me," and it sounds like basically whoever voice recorded it was like screaming through a fan when you actually slow down and analyze the audio, but it does sound like, "Help me, Mike," etc., etc. Lastly, on this one that's quick and easy, is Princess Quest. Princess Quest is a secret minigame that is unlockable in the mobile version of FNAF VR. So, which in and of itself is weird. It's like, there's a mobile version of a VR game. You bet you there is. FNAF Help Wanted, which started as the VR game, has been ported onto basically every other system at this point. It's on Switch. It's literally everywhere. And so you can play a 2D version of it. One of the versions of it that you can play is on a mobile device. They have a phone version. I've played it, and specifically for Princess Quest. So there are glitches in the game that you can access, and if you tap the screen a bunch, it has a weird unlock. It's very inconsistent, but basically the thought goes that if you click on certain areas very quickly, or enough times or whatever, you unlock this minigame called Princess Quest, which is a kind of 8-bit style minigame where you wander around a derelict castle, collecting, what was it? Tapes, torches. You light a bunch of you have to light a bunch of torches, and basically I believe there are 13 if I remember correctly, which coordinates with FNAF VR, where you had to collect all the tapes, and by assembling the tapes you unleash Glitch Trap. In this game, instead of collecting tapes, you're playing Princess Quest, you light the torches, and by the end, you release Glitch Trap. And at the very end, the princess in the game is trapped, and this giant kind of like purple menace appears and kind of speaks gibberish to you, and it's really creepy and scary. But if you analyze kind of the text box of what he says, it's a code, and it basically says, I believe it was like, I always come back, or basically something saying like, this is Afton, this is the stand-in for Glitch Trap, and it's all through this minigame called Princess Quest in that one. So a weird kind of offshoot, a weird little detail. We've talked about it very briefly in a previous theory, but again, like a cool little Easter egg that exists in a very specific version of a very specific game, and that's why I try to keep my eyes out to all of this stuff, because you never know when the next clue is going to pop up, because that was a really bizarre one. So, with that being said, like Matt said, we have to kind of wrap things up. So we got through like 1 3/4. There's still like 500 of these things left to go. There's no way that we're finishing this before the game.
Well, not with that attitude.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, look at, maybe if they're all that fast. It'll be great.
Like a super speed round.
Super speed rounds. And honestly, and to be honest, like, some of these are pretty quick and easy and can go and should be up higher. You know, canceled due to leaks. I know this one. That's a FNAF 4 teaser. You know, Molten Freddy Blueprint. That's another one that's literally just in the game and it's very easy. Bear of Revenge. That's another thing that's in the game. So we can, I think, burn through some of these a little bit faster next time. Anim Dude, that's Scott's character. Easy. Autobiography of a Yogi. That's from FNAF 1, where anyway, it's a part of the phone call from FNAF 1. Final night. It's mysterious. We'll talk about it. Okay. So there you have it, friends. Did you learn something? I hope you did. Now that we're getting deeper and deeper, I'm learning stuff. Like, honestly, I didn't know Toxic Song and Curse Haunting and some of this stuff. Like, this is, you know, Yellow Bear being in the source file. Now that I think about it, I might have heard of that one. But yeah, this is the sort of thing that, like, we're all learning together. I hope you're learning something. Matt, what did you learn today? Again, like, just to recap.
Illusion discs. I learned about those.
There you go.
I had no idea.
Now put them out of your head, because no one ever wants to hear about them. Because
Done.
anytime I mention them in a theory, I'm immediately tossed into a fire pit of hatred.
Deleted. Scrapped.
But it doesn't matter anymore, because the dislike button is gone. I care. But I'm just leaning into the meme about the dislike button. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know what I missed, or if you know what Freddy Bear is specifically referencing, if I just completely missed it. And I'll see you in the next one of these. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to completing this at some point in the future. Hopefully we're able to finish it before the actual release of this game. And as always, remember, it wasn't a live stream, but it was a video for you. See ya!